In this video, Alec Rome joins me to play a match against the bot in the Backgammon versus the Bot series. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. I appreciate your super thanks. These small donations help me continue to create the high quality content that you enjoy. And with the membership feature, you can get exclusive access to the most popular videos. My book, Backgammon Backend Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. Again, in this video, it's my pleasure to welcome Alec Rome. Welcome.
Hey, thank you very much, Alex. I'm so excited to get rolling and hopefully not embarrass myself too much in
Very
this
good,
game
very good.
against the bot.
I'm happy to have you. I tell people the two most important things for these are number one, to have fun, and number two, to learn, in that order. So
Mhm.
hopefully we do that.
Yeah.
Very good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to go. You know, it's a quaint Monday. It's a little bit hot. It's about 100 degrees here in Nebraska and Omaha right
Aha.
now, so heat advisory going on. So that's why we're inside playing backgammon today.
Okay, good.
Instead of
Yeah.
being
So
out
I see
there.
you're joining us from Nebraska. I've never been there, but you were saying you have a club that you're working on there.
Yeah, so basically I just got into the game about 7 months ago, and then there was a little meet up group that has met every about 2 weeks, first and third Sunday, at Nebraska Brewing Company Tap Room here in Omaha, just in South La Vista. And yeah, we've had a good time with that. I've got to meet some nice people, learn the game more, play for a little bit on the side, and it really has been a great time and has fueled my enjoyment and interest in this game. So
That's
it's been a
great.
great time.
So you've been using meetup.com as a marketing tool?
Yeah, that's what we ended up using that. And then I'm kind of, most of the clientele tends to lean a little bit older. We do have a couple of us that are a little bit younger, in the mid 20s
Yeah.
sort of area and late 20s. But we've been using that. I try to put it out on certain places like Facebook and Reddit where we aren't. But that has kind of been how Mike, who was kind of the guy that originally organized it, has been getting people one by one and just again, I Google searched. I was like, is anybody in Nebraska play backgammon? Is
Yeah.
anybody here do this? And it just happened to come up. So yeah, that
Yeah.
it worked out.
And how did you first get into backgammon yourself?
So basically, I work for a company called World Poker Tour Global. If anybody's ever played poker, they know WPT, Mike Sexton, Vince Van Patten. You've seen it on television. Maybe it was the Travel Channel or something like that back in the day. But I work for the global side, which is the online poker facing site. And one of our writers that does content for WPT.com did a story on Galen Hall, who is a accomplished poker player that jumped into the world of backgammon and was able to jump himself into the semifinals of a major tournament. Of course, it was a little bit. They were able to tell that maybe he was a little bit too aggressive with the cube as a poker player and a gambler might be. But I was immediately hooked. I was super interested in this story and like, okay, if he can do it, if he can jump over into this new area, I'm interested. So
There are a lot of outstanding poker players who used to play backgammon. You're probably familiar with like
oh, of
Dustin
course.
Hanson, Eric
Hmm.
Seidel, Phil Loth, a lot of them. A lot
Oh
of them.
yeah.
There's a lot. I have a friend, David Wells. He plays both. Um, anyway, that's a lot of fun. So I'm excited to have you on. It's a pleasure to have you. So I'll go ahead and share the screen. Are you able to see that now?
Yep, I can.
Okay, great. We're playing on a beautiful Gammon board. The XG board is made by Rain. He makes beautiful XG boards. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And you're playing the red checkers at the bottom, XG the white checkers at the top. I selected these colors because they're the colors of the Nebraska
That's
Cornhuskers.
right. And it's a good looking board. But yes,
Yeah,
I'm a
good. Thank you.
Cornhusker at
Okay,
heart. So I love it. This is
so we'll get started. You just let me know how you like to play, and then we'll discuss it. We'll have viewers of different levels, and we'll have a lot of fun. Here we go. So with the 4-3.
okay. 3 point match. So it's a little bit more risky, volatile right off the bat. And I think 4-3, I don't know, I would go back and forth between 13-9 and 24-21, but um I think I'm gonna play risky and bring two down. I think
Okay.
that's what I'm feeling.
All right, 4-3 in response. So same thing.
Hey,
Now,
the bot did it. So there we
yeah.
go.
Okay, so now 6-1.
Well, that looks pretty natural to just make the 7, make the bar. You know, can't unfortunately couldn't get a hit or anything out there, but you know, we have a great opportunity maybe to get the 5 point or the 4 here soon. So let's do that.
There's also, I think I like this play, but there's also the other idea of coming out here, making the 9 point, consolidating this, not making a stripped points here, and this serves as somewhat of a distraction to prevent white from making these points.
That's true.
However, I think I like this play too, so we'll see. All right, now 5-2 for white, making that point. See, if you were here with the 5-2, you would have had to hit here with the 2 and done something awkward.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fair.
okay, now 5-2 of your own.
Well, then we just get to accomplish what we wanted to do, which was make the 4. Now we got a
Yep,
nice little stretch here.
okay, very good. Double 6. I say some good, some bad.
Yeah. Now sometimes when that happens, I don't know if this is one of those times because white structure is still pretty good looking. Like that's still very dangerous. You know, plenty of flexible checkers, plenty of things. I don't imagine we're going to be splitting those back checkers anytime soon, just because they can kind of blitz us and really put us in a bad way. But I know sometimes in those double sixes, after that happens, it's kind of you might be reaching for the cube afterwards, but I'm unsure that this is one of those situations, but it could be close. I think I would rather roll here, but
So what are good rolls for you next?
5-1's a good roll. Let's see, double threes could be a good roll to make. Then I'd have a 5 prime, 6-3, and then 8-5 would bring them in.
Yeah,
Um, what else? I think double fours is a good roll. We make white's 5 point, and then we can bring down,
yeah.
13-9.
So few, and maybe double ones also making that
Double
point.
ones would be a good one. Yep.
So not too many good rolls on your end.
Yeah.
Are there any like kind of pretty bad rolls for white? Maybe double 6, double 5.
Yeah, those would probably be not amazing. Trying to think of, let's see. I mean, double fours is a bit messy because you then are going to you have to go 2 off of their 6 to go to the 2 point, and then it
Well, double 4
probably.
can play from
Oh,
here,
double
right?
fours, yes, that's good. Never mind. That's a good one. Um, it's hard to know that there's a lot of messy ones besides the big doubles. Like
Right.
even 6-5 is okay. 4-5 is good for them. So I don't know how many market losers they have here.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's like not as many. Sometimes I kind of go through that process in my head, and it helps me just thinking about like my rolls next, and then the opponent's rolls next. They add up to enough for a double, and you know, I would also agree that it's not, especially given the racing deficit here. You can roll something nice. Okay, so you want to roll?
Yep. Let's
Okay,
roll.
6-5.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I think the most we can't leap, so I think the most flexible play is to bring them down, and we have a really nice structure that allows us to make. We have plenty of good rolls. I mean, 5-3, 5-2, 5-1, all to make the 5 prime.
Okay.
That's still pretty flexible, and again, we only get hit with 4-5. That just feels like the only thing that looks nice. So yeah,
Yeah, and this looks like it's almost a symmetrical position. The
pretty
only difference
much.
is this checker is over here, which is actually probably an advantage to red. It's basically a prime versus prime, and both players have 2 checkers back on their respective 24 points, so it's kind of anyone's game.
Yeah,
All right,
let's do it.
5-2. Okay, steps up. Look at that, leaving the shot.
Hmm. Let's see. All right, so now it's another time to maybe think about what our count. So leaves multiple different shots. We get any 2 knocks them back. Double threes, we get to point on them. Double fives, we get to point on them twice. So we're counting 11 twos plus double threes, double fives. I would consider double sixes doesn't hurt because you do still point, although it makes it a little bit messier. If I had to roll a double, I wouldn't. I don't know if double six is at the top of my list. Still got the same things of having the five prime with any five, one, two, or three, and two and three. There's a lot of good numbers there, Alex. That's a
Yeah.
lot of good numbers. That feels kind of cubey to me. I think that's a lot of good numbers in this sort of situation. Two cube, 3 point game. If we get one of those, we can just gammon them out and maybe just win it right here.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's good. I've been doing a lot of studying on the shorter matches. And uh, are you familiar with why you want to double more aggressively at three away, three away?
I'm sure mentally because I feel like on Backgammon Galaxy I end up playing a lot of 3 points compared to I click 3 and 5 and just naturally everybody loves these
Yeah,
little short games. And I've probably watched the presentation from Chris Bray on like all these scores 5 points and in, and just like naturally there's that overage. I know that that's kind of a big deal, and you just a lot of these games play out where if you're able to win the first one or win a cube, um, you having the 1 point advantage is so huge because then you don't you have this. I guess again, my verbiage here might you might be able to explain a little bit more nicely than I have, but you just have a better opportunity. The cube is going to the cube play after this moment is very standard, and we just kind of take an aggressive line here. I guess I don't really know if I know it fully, but
well,
um,
the way I like to think about it is, say you have a 15-point match, right? And you win 1 point, so you're ahead 1-0. You're ahead 1-0, but there's still a very long way to go. But
right,
in a 3-point match, if you're ahead 1-0,
yeah, that's
you're
huge.
ahead 1 point, but there's a very short distance to go. So, like, imagine you're running like 150 yards for a 15-point match, 10 yards per point, and you win one. So you have to get 140 yards and your opponent 150. But if you win 1 point here, you've got 20 yards to go and your opponent 30. It's the same difference, but
Yeah,
you're much closer to the finish line. The other thing about three away is if you win a single game on a two cube, you get to the Crawford game, which is
correct.
valuable. So that's really key. Uh, the other thing I like to think about is, let's say you're white. Would you take this or pass it?
Ooh, I mean, I just counted all the different market losing numbers, and it's way over 25. I mean, any two hurts. Not that it's dead, but any two really hurts, and then I just get to escape a checker. I think there's just too many yucky outcomes for white, and again, there's gammon losing chances where they could just lose right now,
Right.
right now.
So so there is the Woolsey's law. Some people are familiar with that. Is if you're not sure if it's a take or a pass, then you should double.
Yeah,
Now, if you think it's a pass for sure, then you have to consider whether it's too good to
right.
double. Um, do you think it may be too good to double here?
I don't I don't think so. Just because there could be a line or two. I think, at least my opinion is that I feel like the concept of too good to double might apply more strongly if we were at a different match score. But when we're just starting 0-0 and we have this opportunity here to put in a cube that will put our opponent under pressure, I think I'd rather do it because I don't know if there's this part of me that wants to take this opportunity here to maximize it at its best when I feel like we have. I
Yeah,
don't
it
think
turns
we
out.
have above 75 here or
Yeah,
above.
yeah. I think even like at this score, when you're too good, you could win an undoubled gammon for 2 points, which again takes you to the Crawford game. So that would be valuable. The
Mhm.
gammon value for a center cube at three away is elevated, but not on a two cube. And I think I would agree because you mentioned there are a lot of good sequences, but there are also a lot of like okay sequences where, like, if we miss, White still has a prime, and we still have a lot of work to do. So,
Yeah.
I would agree. So we'll see in the analysis. So we'll double. Okay, take. Okay, so now it's
Ooh,
a 6-5.
that's interesting. Um, well, I think. the thing that's going to get us closer to the goal now that there's a 2 cube. We want to make the point on the 1. It's going to lift a checker up and continue to, hopefully, if they do fan here, we've got some paths to start really causing damage. So
Right. The other thought would be maybe putting 2 on the bar, but that just leaves a lot of shots there.
yeah, that feels a bit wacky. But
And there's the other option of just making the 2 point, but that gives the opponent the initiative. Like 1s and 3s are good here, whereas 2s and 4s are good here, and 6s.
mm-hmm.
So that does take away half the roll, and there are 9 dancing numbers. And the other thing I kind of like to look at is like you look at 1s, 4s, and 6s. Those are the numbers that they can't come in with. How do those numbers play like otherwise? So like if he comes in with a 2, 3, or 5 and rolls a 1, that's actually pretty good
Mm-hmm.
because you could do that. Same thing with the 4, you could do that, and then with the 6, probably go there. So some of the numbers are a little bit diversified in that sense.
Yeah,
But let's see what happens. 6-4. Okay, so that was a good sequence.
we're
All
on our
right,
way.
now 5-1.
Well, we just get to go ahead. I mean, I'm thinking about, we do need to start thinking about getting that back checker split. We'd like to just roll a 2. That would be ideal, is just hit a 2. But we get to make the 5 point here, and we have 4 points now. So that looks real nice still. But we would like to get that back checker in motion soon enough.
The other thought would be to do like this and then split. So this makes it a lot easier to kind of step up to the 5 point or the 20 point and kind of jump out. And here you have 1s and 2s to hit, whereas 1s and 2s are not great here. You can cover with 3s, 4s, and 5s.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something, and this is obviously going to win a lot more gammons, right? And then if you make this play, that's good. But then the idea is like, what if you don't roll like a 4 next or something? Even if you roll like a 2,
Yeah.
you'll need a 6. So these are kind of like things you have to balance. But as the guest, you always have the final decision.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not a play I would have thought of before, and I think there's that thought, but I also kind of made the sort of like pure play whenever I'm looking through. I tend to just go with the thought of like the concept of playing pure gets me 80% of the way there, and then I'm still learning the 20.
Okay.
What's in the middle that's going to get me there. So I think it would be tough if they do end up hitting a 3 on us here, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with what I would have probably done, which was
Okay,
make.
I like this.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
very good. 6-3. Okay, so there's the 3 and the 6 comes out. Now 4-3.
Yeah, this is one of those lines. I mean, I think your point was taken well, but I mean, I think now is the time to get that back checker moved, because now we can't. Now there's an opportunity for white to escape with another 6. The 3, I think, might just have to be moving it to the 5.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just not a lot of great stuff. I mean, you could be really interesting and lift the checker again, because we like to. I know the concept of when you have 1 checker left from your opponent, you got to hit that thing, but
Oh yeah. Like
it's
hit it
still
like
a
this
little.
and like this. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
that could be a thought. That could be a thought, because that still gives me the initiative, and we have 4. The other concept that I can remember is that in hitting battles, if this is a spot right now where we're okay with getting in a hitting battle, because we still have that checker on the 22 that I could clean up, or the checker on the opponent's 3. I could still get that one.
Right.
I think I like this better. I think I like slotting here because we have 4 points and taking another roll at trying to get that covered.
And then the 3.
I think diversify the number and put it to the 5 so that we could have a 4 or 2. I think that's, I don't know,
Okay.
maybe.
More numbers.
Well, we could lift it up. Actually, we could lift that 7 up because that does reduce like a really horrible double shot 4-3. But yeah, I actually think maybe that's a little safer, but because the other one though, we still have, it becomes an extra number if white fans. It becomes an extra number for us to cover with next roll. So I mean 5-4-2.
Yeah. It's like having more outs in poker.
Correct. Let's leave it like
an
that.
inside straight draw or an open-ended
Yeah,
straight draw?
right. Yeah, let's leave it like that. Let's leave it like that right
Okay.
there.
Okay. 6-2. Okay, so the 2 is forced. Okay, still have shots. 5-3.
Well, now we get to point on the 2, and we are still trying to cover that 3. That looks pretty good.
There's also the option of doing this.
It's true. That's a little bit more straightforward.
The benefit of this is you have a higher point, and if you're missed, you have 6s and 5s
Correct.
to cover, which are not good on the other side. But if you do this, it's a higher point that's open, and you only have 5s.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that looks a lot better.
Okay. 4-1. All right. 6-3. So.
Ugh, okay,
6.
so 6 is easy, and the 3 unfortunately is just going to have to go up.
Okay.
We need a 1, 2, 4, preferably a 4 would be real nice here.
6-5.
Oh, brutal.
All right, so that's forced.
Brutal.
Okay.
Don't do this to me now.
There's still chances. 5-3.
Yep.
Forced.
Ouch. Ow. That hurts.
Okay, so now, 5-4.
Oh, 5-4 is big.
That was
5-4 is big.
Okay, and now 6-3. The 6 is forced, and the 3.
Got it. Got to hit it. Yep.
Do or die.
4 up.
So 4 up and 2
2
up.
lift. Yep.
Lift. 6-2 comes in and hits.
Man, yep. What a battle this is.
5, 4-1 or 3-2. 4-1. All right.
One for the good guys. Come on.
6-2. Okay, so
Out.
here's a 6.
Let's see. So I'm trying to, this is time. Actually, yeah. So double, this is a count. Now you can count the shots, and now I can only get a return shot hit for double 6s because 1 6 would have to come out. Versus if you move up to 2, there's now 6-4.
Right.
Which adds 1. So we might as well play the most. We get to reduce 1 shot and really reduce kind of the only bad, kind of one of the bad sequences that prevents me from winning this would be getting hit back.
Okay, so you're saying 6,
and then
you'd like to play the 2 in?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that you want to think about is this leaves 1 number, double 6, that hits. And then I guess you'll probably get a return shot with a 6-5 from the bar. Whereas this leaves 6-4 and double 6, so 3 numbers. But if white dances, you have a lot better chances of bringing things home. So like here, like let's say you roll a 6-2 or a 5-3 or something like that, you're going to be in trouble. But again, the final decision is for you. Here's the 6.
So if we think about, so if I move it to there, another 6 gets us there. I mean, there is part of it too that, I mean, if they do dance, I mean, I could still hit there, but I don't know. I think I'll go with the 4-2.
Okay.
And stick with my gut. I want to be somebody that's like, I want to be evaluated on what I would have done, you know. So I think I'm going to do this.
All right. 5-4 missed. 5-1. So I guess hit.
That's kiss. So
now the things is when you have this spare on the 2-point instead of the 4-point, you run into some issues. Like if you roll a 6-4, a 5-4 now, whereas the other way you wouldn't have.
Fair.
Okay, so 4-2, 3-2. So hit and
Yep.
continue.
Oh, yep.
All
It's
right, looking for
beautiful.
the gammon.
It's beautiful.
And
Oh,
uh-oh,
oh,
there's a
okay.
shot,
Well,
but if we're missed, still good
oh,
gammon chances.
it's gonna be close. I think we got a shot at it.
Oh, another double.
Oh, come on. That hurts. We still got a shot.
Still chances. Probably need a double. No, no. There,
Yep.
that's it.
Bang.
So that's it.
It's over. It's over.
Now we'll analyze it. Okay, very good. So we'll start from the beginning. This will be relatively quick, but there were some interesting positions, so we'll have some time to analyze that. So the 4-3 is simply those two, and then the other play that you were talking about, like this, was very close, so it
Mhm.
didn't really matter. And then the 6-1, yeah, you were right. You just wanted to make this point. The suggestion that I made was just to kind of look at, but I think I did like this one better. It just gets something productive done.
Yeah.
Um, and then the 5-2 was pretty clear. Just use your checkers to make the point. And the 6-5, look at this. This was interesting. It
Hmm.
preferred this play, resulting in this position. Didn't even consider this one. I mean, it's not a huge error, but one of the things I noticed with these types of positions is when you have a prime versus prime, uh, the person who's a favorite, there are a few criteria. Is basically if you have a solid prime, it's better than having a broken prime. So
Yeah.
if you're able to fill this, that's better than having this prime with a gap.
Hmm.
Um, the number of checkers each player has back, that's important. Whether the checkers are at the edge of the prime, whether you have builders to attack, how much timing you have to play. So there are a lot of things that complicate things. But this is an interesting play that a lot of people don't even consider, and I didn't really think about that because you just bring these two and you result in this position, and you have all these checkers ready to make this point. Um, the other thing that it does is it somewhat duplicates some of the fours, especially 3-1. So
Hmm.
like once you do this with 3-1, you can't make that point, and that's what you really want them to. You really want to prevent them from making that. But other rules like 5-4 and 4-3 would make this point, and 4-2 and 6-4 would otherwise make this point.
Yeah, that's a good. That's fair. Yeah, that's
So
one of those that makes a lot of sense.
yeah. Um,
Hmm.
okay. Then the doubling decision. This
Hmm.
was actually a small no double, but it's very close. So one of the things I do is like I'll copy this and I'll paste it onto another board. Okay. And then like some of the things I like to look at is modifying different aspects of it. The first thing I modify is the score. So like let's look at it for a money game. And for money, it's a bigger no double. But as
Hmm.
you discussed, at three away, it's just a small no double and it's worth more. And that's because, you have that chance to get to the Crawford game and you're winning a lot more gammons than the opponent. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big amount. That's huge.
Yeah. I wonder if like some of the things I'll do is like, what if we had it like this? How much of a difference would that make? Now it makes it into a double and a
Wow.
strong double. However, the ones and twos here are duplicated to kind of make this point,
Hmm.
right? So what if this were here? Now it's still a no double, but stronger. But what if
Hmm.
we're split here now? Now you have fours and threes here. Now it makes it. It's still a no double. It's
Closer.
still
Yeah.
take. But I
Hmm.
think it's because he's slotted that point that he wants to make next. What if we have like another checker here? See, now this is bearing on this point, so that's a little
Ah,
better.
yeah.
And what else could we? what if we had this point? Now it's too
Now it's
good.
too good. Yeah.
So that's kind of like a market losing sequence. You have threats of making this point. Um, yeah, so that's kind of like the things I do. Because you said you play like against other people. Do you play on XG also?
I did for a little while. I haven't done it in a minute, but yeah, I
Yeah.
had a little stretch where I was playing pretty regularly against XG.
Yeah, these are the kinds of exercises that I do, and I feel it's very valuable because it shows you like what you need to change in the position to make it a correct double. Is like one of the most common things people tell me is like, how do you learn from XG because it doesn't tell you anything? But that's exactly what you do. Okay, so it was a double and it was a take, and this 6-5. Look at that. So we did that, but it preferred this play, resulting in this position.
Yeah, that's a line that I don't know if I would have even seeing it. I'm like, ooh, that's crazy. That's a little bit crazy, but
Yeah, I mean, like I did mention it, and I
mhm.
think, one of the biggest things I find for myself and for students is uh, the most common times when I make an error is when I don't even consider the top play.
Yeah,
So I think once you start looking at this and then like start considering these types of plays, at least you're halfway there, and then you can kind of get it. The
yeah,
the idea here, I believe, is here you're making the point that's deeper, and you really don't want them to anchor. Here, there's two on the bar, and there are many numbers that hit, but it works better when you're not hit.
hmm,
And even if you are hit, you have some return shots. Yeah, and you really don't want to make this point. That's the thing.
yeah,
That was an interesting one. And now the next one, the 5-1, was also interesting. So this is the one I was telling you about, right?
hmm, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you like this one. I guess you like the prime, right?
Yeah, I mean, I understood that it was probably just like, that it doesn't look amazing in terms of being able to close out this position. I think I understood it, but also in the time I was like, I think, you know, as much as your suggestion sounded good, I was like, I'm here to learn why I
Yeah.
was thinking that right off the bat.
And
And I think
it
that
does
other way
make
is interesting.
sense. Yeah, because like primes are very good.
Mhm.
How are you going to pass up a 5 prime? I think the way I think about it is like, say we're in this position, right? This is before we rolled, right? So looking at this, imagine we hadn't rolled yet. Looking at this position, basically looking at the assets and the liabilities, and basically what single objective would you like to do most on this roll?
Well, I mean, we look like we were priming, but now it looks really like we're blitzing. Now we're trying to all out. This kind of feels almost like a blitzy position, especially the way I played it the previous roll by
Yeah,
going to the one. Now I'm
right.
just looking to blitz and close.
Yeah. So yeah, blitzing. And then the other thing that I was thinking is like, these are going to be really big liabilities if
Yeah,
we're not able to move those checkers. So I think the reason for hitting for me when I'm thinking about it is not because you want to hit, but really you want to split.
yeah,
Because once you split, you can get to here with threes and fours, right? So you desperately need to split, and then the best five is just there,
yeah, yeah.
and it
That makes
results
a lot of
it
sense.
results like in this position. But now look, you have threes to cover, ones and twos here. You have fours and fives to cover also.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, these are hard.
Yeah, I think it was nice because we got a lot of positions here that were kind of um, as much as I'm happy about the win, we got some like real marginal stuff, like that's what we're looking for, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm intermediate. I've been playing around I think I don't know what PR I have, but it's probably pretty close to what I've been normally playing, which is like high, high single digits, low double digits.
yeah,
So
that's good.
that's the difference.
All right, so let's see what else. Then the 4-3. Yeah, you had to. You had
Mhm.
to hit. And then after hitting, um, the three here was better, which is what we
Yeah.
discussed. So very good. And then the 5-3, like we discussed, the pointing on head was not the right idea. We can look at it the plus plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the 6-3 was straightforward, and the 6-5 was forced. And then what happened was the 5-3 we had to lift. 5-4 was a great shot
Yeah.
there,
That was just
and
nice.
it was mostly smooth sailing from here. The 6-3 was forced. We were missed. The 4-2 was step up and lift. And then the 4-1 after being hit, that was a great roll because we
Yeah.
hit
That's just
back.
a good roll.
And this was the 6-2 that we discussed. It preferred going all the way here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we kind of like discussed the reasons why.
Yeah. Which I get too. I think that like I would have viewed it sometimes there will be positions where I'm thinking like I need to hold that. I don't know. This is not one of those positions where I needed to hold the checker back. There's just not a lot of that one extra bad roll that is there is not really equating to all of the good rolls that I gain from
Right.
moving forward. And I think that's something that I didn't recognize in the exact moment where I was like, oh, I'll just stay back and be a little bit safer. But yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good point for a lot of the players that, you think about the risk, but you also have to think about the reward or the gain and weigh them accordingly. Like after the next roll, those fours became awkward. And the other thing I tell people is there are four major strategies to win a game in backgammon without using the doubling cube. The first and most simple is to race, just bringing things
Mhm.
home. Uh, the second is priming. The third is blitzing or attacking, and the fourth is a defensive strategy where you're playing a holding game or you're trying to contain. So, of those here, I mean, you're way ahead in the race. So you want to race.
Yeah.
You don't want to kind of get stuck back here because, like, say you played this and your resulting position is here, and now you roll like 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 3-2, small numbers, double ones, something like that, or like a 5-2 or 4-3, you're going to leave a shot. And then the other thing about having this builder here, this checker, it creates a lot more flexibility in the future.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, so that's good to learn. And then the 5-1 was essentially forced. But then if you look at this resulting position, like how many rolls are bad for you next?
Let's see. So basically 6-5, 4, and 3. So 6-5, 6-4, 6-3.
Well, 6-3 you can play the three in and then the
Oh
six
yeah,
off.
6 off. But the two 6-5 and 6-4 require me to bring
Right.
in and leave a shot some way.
And then there are the
And
doubles,
then
like
the
double sixes
doubles.
and double fives.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, and that's what happens. Like the 6-4, you save on the 6-4. Also, there's like 5-4, right?
Yeah.
5-4 is another one, whereas the other way it wouldn't have been. So
Yeah.
like you start thinking about these things with practice, and then you kind of get pattern recognition.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. So then the 3-2 was good because you could hit and lift, and it was pretty much smooth sailing from here. Nothing there here. We left the shot, but we were missed, and then almost saved the gammon, but got it at the end. So very
There we
good.
go. We're happy about that.
Yeah.
Win against XG is never a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we'll go ahead and stop. Okay. So what are your thoughts on the match?
Well, I mean, part of me was, part of me felt like I was like, oh, maybe that worked out a little bit. There was a couple spots where I could have really just shored up the victory of just playing about some of the concepts we talked about and finding the cleaner, better play. Could have just really prevented and really like going back to one of those plays. My opponent hit the XG hit the 3-6 to get a checker out. So I was directly punished a little bit for not making the play that might have been suggested. So I think that is always a good reminder of, okay, even in those little moments where you just feel like you're kind of coasting or you feel like you got it, you still have to pay attention. You still have to be thinking about every move. I think that was a good lesson from this one. But yeah, just had a good time. Thank you so much for having me.
My
And
pleasure.
I'm glad I got a chance to keep learning and help you out here. But yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think there were some good positions that were educational, and I feel like thinking about it is that there is a lot of similarity between backgammon and poker in terms of probabilities, what's going to happen next, what are the options, whether it's a card that's going to come or the dice. One of the reasons why I prefer backgammon over poker is because there's always action. So like every roll, you
Mhm.
actually make a move, whereas in poker I mean, at least if you're good at poker, you're not playing every hand, so
Correct.
you're just sitting and there's like a lot of waiting. I mean, during that time you should be observing, which
Mhm.
is it can be difficult. And I recently spoke to a friend of mine, David Wells, who plays backgammon and poker, and he said the biggest difference between the two is that poker is a game of incomplete information,
Mhm.
whereas backgammon is a game of complete information. Although I would say it's mostly
Yeah.
complete information because you don't know how your opponent's going to play in terms of a double or a take and things like that, but mostly complete.
Yeah.
So I agree. But they're both very fun. I'm very happy to have had you, and you're certainly welcome to come back again. Maybe bring a friend, play a challenge match
Yeah.
against each other. I'm happy to have younger players, players from all different places. Like you're in the Midwest in Nebraska. I'd love to have more players play in Nebraska and
Agreed.
elsewhere,
Yes.
and have them on. So fantastic. Do you have any final comments before we conclude?
Well, yeah, and just really quick on your point there. I thought it the other day about like, I noticed I was playing a match and there was a double that, I think it might have been like a 58-42. And it's interesting to see that, there's when you're thinking about the doubling cube, which is kind of just such a central part of the game, there are times where as poker players, you're looking for the tiny edges. You're looking for the any time that you can get that 8% because over time it's just going to help you out. Whereas in backgammon, there's sort of a different. You still are looking for those edges, but there it's a window rather than just like okay from 50 upward. And so the cube that we saw was like an example of one. I even told you coming in, I was like, I might be a little bit more aggressive
Yeah,
with the cube, and that was an aggressive cube according to XG, but small, right? But I only had 59%.
yeah,
It wasn't for sure, but
right.
it was just one of those kind of like recognized spots where okay, I'm gonna send the hammer, might as well. And I think that just kind of is influenced. But yeah, I'd love to be back on. Thank you very much. I'd love to see more people in the state. And if you watch this and you're in Nebraska, we've got a club that meets twice a month, the Nebraska Brewing Company Tap Room, 108th and Harrison area, twice a month, first and third Sunday. We'd love to have you.
Great, great. I'm happy to hear that. Happy to promote your club. And I guess the last question would be if the viewers were interested in watching your content in terms of poker, how could they find that?
Well, I do a lot of different content. Funny enough, I'm actually big right now. I'm streaming baseball. Funny enough, I've been
Okay.
big into baseball, and there's an old game on the Wii, Morrow Super Sluggers. But I also have, Alec Rome Productions. I have an archive of some of my previous photography over the last 2 years. You can check out some of my work on Instagram there, and I hope to be able to keep putting things out. I also have a portfolio of my work, which I think is alecrome.myportfolio.com. And of course, all the social media, Rome for Real on X or Twitter. I still call it Twitter. And those sorts of things. I'd love to chat with you more about the game. So,
I remember there used to be a sports personality, Jim Rome.
oh yeah, yep. I get that all the time, man. I get the Rome, and somehow I ended up being a broadcaster, a sportscaster type person myself. I kind of leaned into the trope a little bit,
Yeah, I
but
used
yeah,
to watch this show a lot, long time ago.
yeah.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Alec Rome. It's a pleasure to have had you. We've got all your social media. People can check that out. And Omaha, Nebraska. What was the name of the club? Is it Nebraska Backgammon Club or something?
We could call it that. We haven't really given it a name yet, but
Okay.
we'll get there. We'll get there with a name and branding was soon enough. But
All
yeah,
right. Well, good luck with that. Thank you again. We'll go ahead and conclude. Thank you to the viewers for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos, so I can work on that. I appreciate your super thanks. These small donations help me continue to create the high quality content that you enjoy. And with the membership feature, you can get exclusive access to the most popular videos. Again, my book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.